Hi everyone, Bill Rentschler in the 1011 Now streaming studio. Hope everyone is having a nice Wednesday afternoon. It's Wednesday though, and that means it's Crime Stoppers Day, and it's been probably a month since we've had UNLPD's Captain John Baker in the studio. John, how have you been?
Good. It doesn't even feel like a Wednesday though. With all the closures and crazy stuff that happened Monday.
It's been a weird week. I was late getting the kids to school this morning, and there was a parade of parents.
I probably drove through the same parade, right?
that were right there with me, which did make me feel a little bit better that I was not the only parent who had trouble getting their kids up and out the door into school this morning. But it's been a quiet time for you guys on campus. Campus has been closed. Semester doesn't start again for another almost 2 weeks.
For the fall semester, right? So UNL has been doing like a 3-week pre-session course, but I believe a lot of those are online. So we're not seeing a lot of students on campus yet, and and that's it's not. Yes, it's shut down, but we're still here. Obviously, housing still serves students food and all of that, and but yeah, relatively calm.
That's good. But just because campus is closed doesn't mean we don't still have crimes that we're working on solving.
That's right. There are a few out there still.
All right, so we have one new one that we want to talk about today, and that involves this bicycle theft. Can you kind of take me through what we know about this image here? We have two images of this person who decided to swipe a bike.
Or parts of one, anyway.
Parts of one, anyway.
Yeah. So we see this every so often. As you know, theft is a crime of opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
If someone sees something that's easily available, they're more likely to take it. And it was the front tire and the parts that were taken off the front tire. What makes this a little bit unique was this is a custom-built bike by the student. So it probably means a little bit more to them than just any bike that's off the rack, and they put some time and effort and money into building it. So the key with this one, it has a quick release handle on the front tire, which great, for changing
tires. You get a flat, swap it out.
Yeah, exactly. Great for that. However, a little crime prevention tip for folks out there: if they ever do have to park their bicycles in public places, often probably a good idea to swap out those quick releases for just a traditional nut and bolt, axle bolt setup. Total time this guy took less than 5 minutes, and that included finding the bike, watching it, looking around for a little bit, then a few quick turns, and he's off, riding off with the bike with the tire under his arm. So, if people have to park their bike in public, we recommend just make it difficult. The bike was locked up, so he just took the parts.
Just took the tire. Didn't necessarily take the whole bike, but took the tire.
Right. We also recommend, in addition to a good U-bolt or a U-lock for bicycles, using a chain with that as well to go around the tires to prevent something like this. Not blaming the victim on this. He locked it up the best he could. But if you have a bike that means a lot to you, or if you want to take the extra steps, just invest in a good sturdy chain and wrap those around the tires.
Because for a lot of students, because this happened near 17th and W Streets, and this was on November 4th that this occurred. Yeah. But for a lot of these students, their bike can be a primary mode of transportation to get around campus.
I've said this before. The bike thefts that we do have, they're not the crimes of the century. They're not obviously the most serious thing that we deal with, but it means a lot to the student when that may be the only way to get between campuses, between City and East Campus, or just get around between a tight class schedule if they got to get from one part of campus to another. It means a lot to them. So obviously it means a lot to us.
I went to school at UNL. I know how far it can be, how long it can take to walk from one end of campus to the other.
Right. When you got that precious few minutes between campus, you got to get there.
Because usually I was running late, just like I was this morning.
Me too.
So, yeah. But, you had said way back when we kind of first started, bike thefts are one of your most common things that happen on campus. So this is just, not just, with this crime that we're looking for tips for, but just in general, this is something you see a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. And always encourage folks, what it should look like when someone's unlocking their bike. They should use a key or a combination, right? Usually bolt cutters are not used to unlock your own bike, right? So anybody using bolt cutters or a tool or something like that, or if they're looking around at bikes and kind of looking for a specific one, but it looks kind of out of the ordinary, please call us, and this goes for Lincoln Police or us, we all want to prevent theft. So anybody that seems to be taking too much time around a bike rack, give us a call. Especially on campus, we have a lot of cameras that we can direct towards that area and find out what's going on while officers are on the way.
All right, all good things. So again, this was 17th and W Streets, November 4th. Looks like again a male wearing some sunglasses, maybe some gray black hair, something like that in there. Kind of hard to tell from the picture, but if you know anything about it, remember seeing anything, give you guys a call.
Yeah, use the Crime Stoppers. I don't think this is on the website yet. But you can still use the website, the information on the website. Folks can use it to report it.
I say crime doesn't have to be on the Crime Stoppers website for folks to call Crime Stoppers and give a tip. So that's always, again, good information for everyone. And one case that we did actually have a tip on.
We did.
But we still need some more information. We actually talked about this a couple weeks ago. Was when a couple of gentlemen decided to take their ATVs and do a little joyriding on sort of the grassy fields on East Campus.
Right.
And those fields were used for research, and there was several $1,000s worth of damage, if I remember correctly.
We're still trying to figure it out, right? Because you have to wait for the grass to grow back to see what all was damaged and how much. But yeah, potentially it could be up there in the amount of loss. To the tipster, if you're out there, we got your tip. We did the best we could. You provided some decent information. You know, we just have a high standard of what we have to meet before we can cite somebody for it. And you know, some things checked out with a tip. We just need more. So whether it's that same person that we need to go back and talk to again armed with a little bit more information, or you know, it may be that the difference in ATVs was just enough. That was the tip that we received versus these that we see on camera here. That it may be somebody else that's involved here. So please keep the tips coming on these. We're guessing this isn't the only time these folks have ridden these ATVs in the area. So that 48th and Holdridge, 48th and Huntington area, please give us a call. And so
this is again a kind of a good example because I'll throw up our way to give a tip. But we always talk about if you have the P3 app, you guys can actually have a little bit of a conversation, a back and forth. So this is one of those instances where if they would have used the app, they may have. I guess I don't know. But you guys could, right? Yeah, it's all anonymous. We don't know. That's the whole point. You guys could have a little conversation back and forth to maybe get some extra detail.
Right.
And so other ways, again, to leave tips, whether it's about the ATV case or the bicycle wheel theft case. Again, you can contact Lincoln Police, 402-441-6000 to speak with an officer. To make an anonymous tip, it's 402-475-3600, LincolnCrimeStoppers.com. Or again, like we just mentioned, you can download that P3 app. Which, again, allows you to both remain anonymous and to continue to have that conversation ongoing. My buttons are all mixed up here today. There we go. All right. It's the cold and the snow. My computer knows that it's coming.
There's more on the way, right?
There's more on the way, which segues us right into our next segment.
See how I did that?
I like what you did there. Right. I like that. So, again, if you've been living under a rock, you know it's been cold and snowy the last couple days, but even more snow and even colder cold is heading our way late this week. Right. I'm sure you guys probably are like, we're good with all the gear we wear anywhere. Anyway, it doesn't take that much extra hat and some gloves, and you guys are still good. But some safety tips, both, again, this is for folks on campus and off. This goes across the board. Walk us through what you guys are talking about.
So, on campus, we're not just the crime fighters, right? We try to look out for everyone's safety, personal safety, and weather is certainly a part of that. And we also have a lot of folks on campus that come from warmer climates that this may be their first experience with snow, right? So it's just that what we call, if you're from Nebraska, this is probably common sense, but if you're not familiar or, if you're trying to assemble what you're going to wear for the day, it's the wear layers, layers, because the worst thing I have ever experienced is I bundle up too warm. I'm walking somewhere, I'm shoveling the snow, then I get sweaty, and then I instantly get cold because I've worn too many layers, and I couldn't, I wore too many layers, or I wore too warm of clothing. So the layers really help you adapt. So if you're in the cold, you layer up. Once you get to where you're going, you can take off some of those layers. Gloves or mittens, hats, any exposed portion of skin can freeze very quickly in this wind chill. I think we're looking at negative 30s for wind chill coming up this weekend. Right?
That is correct.
Yeah. So it doesn't take long, as you probably told others viewers before. Really does not take long for skin to get frostbite in those conditions. So
No, it does not.
any bit of skin covered up, sunglasses can even help, just prevent that air hitting your face.
Mm-hmm.
Scarves, but really it's the layering, and if that outside layer can be kind of a wind resistant, water resistant, wind resistant, that helps keep you dry and keeps that cold from penetrating in.
100%. So again, I have on screen here. Again, this is pulling from the weather graphics now. Again, just some of those tips for staying warm, like Captain Baker said. Again, make sure you got the hat covered. That's where you lose most of your heat, is through your noggin. Again, cover as much skin as you can. Several layers, loose fitting and warm layers. Again, break out the Under Armour. The Under Armour leggings and the long sleeves and things like that. And I'm sure you guys probably dealt with this a little bit, maybe earlier this week, but helping some stranded motorists who are getting stuck in the snow. Yeah. But again, this is good information for all winter long. Things to have in your car. The orange reflector cones if you do get stuck, so folks can know that you're stuck and can go around you. Kitty litter to throw in the tires, or I'm sure there's all sorts of things that you can throw on the ground to help get some traction.
There is. And, something unique to campus also is a lot of times students' cars will sit right,
for a while.
Semester. Batteries can die pretty easily in this cold weather. So if you do have a vehicle on campus or you live off campus and you walk to your classes and such, it's not a bad idea to go out and start that car, every week or so, just to keep the batteries fresh, running around, do a little quick trip around town or something, when it's safe and when the roads are safe, obviously. But the car batteries can go bad pretty quick in this weather. So keep all this stuff, keep your vehicle prepared, keep it with you, and if you do happen to get stuck in a ditch, stuck in a snowbank or something like that, make sure you clear that snow away from the exhaust so it doesn't build up, so it has a way to get away from the vehicle. Crack the windows so you have a little bit of fresh air, just slightly. Don't run the vehicle constantly, periodically to save gas. And, unless you see help that's immediately nearby, everyone should stay in their vehicles. And if you have that handy reflector or something that can make you be more visible, just stay with the car. You're more easily to be seen in the car than you out in some kind of whiteout blizzard conditions.
And on these very cold mornings, if you go out to start the car to let it warm up, make sure the car is locked.
Make sure it's locked.
And
within eyesight.
Yes, because car thefts, which again sometimes has been an issue here in Lincoln, it's a lot of times because someone's out warming up their car and the car's running and it's on and it's unlocked.
Yeah, thieves know that. Thieves know that the snow to clear off and the window to defrost and all that, the car's going to need to sit for a little bit. So, yeah, if you have remote start, usually those will self-lock or they have to be locked before they'll start. If you have an older vehicle, like I do, you may not have that. So, use that spare set of keys to keep one in the ignition and keep the vehicle locked.
And if you're warming up your car in garage, make sure you crack the garage door.
Yes.
Because carbon monoxide
can build up pretty quick.
In a small space. That's right. So, all good things, all good tips. Captain Baker, is there anything else we want to talk about today?
No. I'm sure we'll have more come next month because school will kick off again. But it's good to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, pretty raucous crowd last night down at PBA. I hear
that was a fun time. If you weren't there, hopefully you got to watch it on TV. But
on Peacock.
On Peacock. And streaming TV.
Yeah.
If you have that, we won't go there. But but no, those that were there had a really good time, and they took the court at the end, but it was done safely. Everyone was respecting other people's boundaries and space, and no one got trampled, and it was a good ordeal.
Well, and it was a great crowd, and that's, again, with students, still on break.
Yeah.
So it was pretty impressive.
Still a good turnout.
Yeah, it was. All right. Well, Captain Baker, I appreciate it as always for braving the elements to come into the studio again today. I appreciate it as always. All right. Again, appreciate everyone for tuning in and for watching. Again, as always, if you know anything about the crimes we talked about today, again, you can leave a tip with Crime Stoppers, and we'll be back again next Wednesday with another edition of Crime Stoppers. So until then, hope everyone stays safe, stays warm, and enjoys the wintry weather heading our way.